Okay, in today's my class, in today's class, today is what 22 June 2025. So in today's class, I'm going to explain C++. Okay, C++ object-oriented programming language. Okay, so what is C++? And under C++, what is object-oriented programming? So if you want to run C++, either you need to use IDE, Integrated Development Environment. Otherwise, we can write the code here in this. This is called web platform. So within the web platform, you can run the code, you can write the code and run the code and edit the code. Okay. So this is very easy because of no, you don't need any IDEs. Okay. Suppose this is IDE, how to create, how to use this CodeBlocks IDE. IDE means Integrated Development Environment, which is mostly this CodeBlocks will be used for C and C++ programs. Create a new project. Click on here. Okay. Now go here, console application. Go. Okay. Here. Next. Select C or C++. C++. Take a project title, keep any title. Oops. Oops means object-oriented programming that will be stored in a folder C program under C drive. Okay, this will be oops.cbp, C++ basic program. Okay, next come into the next, you finish. Now see, this is the screen. Here you can write this is the debug window. This is the debug window. This is CodeBlocks IDE Integrated Development Environment, which is mostly used to write the code, edit the code, run the code. Okay, the same code we can also without installing any CodeBlocks IDE, and we can write the code, edit the code here also. How? See, if any code, if you whenever you run, this is the code. Already the code written here. So here in this window, this is the code window. Okay, you can whatever the code here, you can delete this code and you can write your fresh code and try it yourself. Whenever you click on this, try it yourself. Whenever you click on try it yourself, your code will be executed, and this on this window, the result will be shown. Okay. So now this is the code. You can edit this code. You can, if you want to do any corrections here, you do the correction. Suppose if you want to change some text, this is the string. Suppose the string, whatever you write the string in C++ always will be kept in double quotation marks. Okay. India is my country. So this India is my country. Country. Okay, understood that. So whenever you run this code, you run this code. So India is my country. You need to change this. I Okay, India is country, my country. Color, background color if you want to change. So this is what what happened. You can write the code here. No need to install any IDE, and you can write the code here and you can check your code. You can edit if any errors are there. You can edit the code. So if you don't want to use web interface, you can, this is the CodeBlocks IDE. Either you can use Visual Studio platform. Okay, Visual Studio platform, VStudio, that will be used mostly for C language, C++, Java, Python. So many languages as a code editor we can use here. IDE. So my classes will be conducted thrice of a week under my Lakshmi Narayan Krishna Foundation. So what I am getting, Okay, first of all, I need to run this code. Seems this project has not been built yet. Do you want to build now? Yes. It seems that this, yes, 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 yes. Okay. So here, what happens, so whenever we want to understand C under C++ programming language, okay, OOPS concept is there. OOPS means object-oriented programming. These classes will be conducted under my Lakshmi Narayan Krishna Foundation. Okay, under my Lakshmi Narayan Krishna Foundation, 3 days of a week. Okay, 3 days, especially Friday, shorter 3 days of a week. Friday, Saturday, Sunday at 0800 p.m. Okay, 0800 p.m. So under my Lakshmi Narayan Krishna Foundation, 3 days classes will be conducted every week, thrice of a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at 8 p.m. in Zoom platform. Zoom, okay, this is Zoom. So already have shared link in different platforms, Facebook, Twitter, in my YouTube channel, in uh, okay, in WhatsApp groups. That is the permanent link given to all of you whenever you want to connect my classes throughout the world, wherever you want to come. It doesn't matter because of I want to enhance, I want to reach the rural world. Okay, especially the students whomever residing in the rural area which is so away of network. They are living away of network centers, and it is very difficult to because of programming languages are very cost effective. They are not affordable to pay the fee. Okay, so under this C++ programming class, under the OOPS concept. What is OOPS? Actually, OOPS stands for Object-Oriented Programming. So object-oriented programming is what you know. It is all about creating objects. So that object, it will hold the data and functions, so they will work on the data. So under object-oriented programming, OOPS concepts, OOPS stands for object-oriented programming. So under this, we will create the objects and that object will hold data and functions. So what are the advantages of OOP? OOP means object-oriented programming. So OOP provides a clear structure to the programs, and it is very easier to maintain, makes the code very easier to maintain, and reusability is there and debug facility is there. So it don't repeat yourself means your code will not be dry. Dry means uh, don't repeat yourself. My code will not be repeated again. Okay. So it is possible to create full reusable applications by the previous code. We can use that previous code and we can create reusable applications. Okay. So with less code and shorter development time. So dry means don't repeat yourself. This principle, what it does, so we can avoid writing the same code more than once. Why? Because once we have written the code and we have stored that file, so next time if I want to write the code, no need to write the code again and again. We can use that file, the code previously written the code. So that's it. That is called don't repeat yourself. No need to repeat the code again. No need to write the code again. So the code previously written code, whenever you have stored that code, and that can be used. That is called dry. Sorry, next is what? What are classes and objects? So classes and objects. these are two main aspects of object-oriented programming. Two aspects, classes and objects. So class defines what? A class defines an object. So how the object looks, okay? So object is created based on that class. So we can simply say that class is a object constructor. It is a template. Otherwise, the class is a object constructor prototype. We can say that. So class defines how the object looks. Okay. So what are the attributes of that object? Attributes means height, weight, color. So how that object looks. So if car is there, car is a color. So car is an object. So that car, how it looks. What are its attributes? What is the car color? And what is the weight of the color car? So color and weight are called attributes. So class can be defined as a class object constructor, okay, or otherwise a prototype, otherwise a model. So whenever we create an object from a class, because class is a object constructor, we can simply say that it is a blueprint to design the object. So that moment what happened when we create object from a class, so that it inherits all the variables and functions, okay, it defined inside that class, because class is an object constructor, so it consists of so many variables and functions, okay. So what is the difference between procedural and object-oriented programming? So procedural programming. So C is a procedural programming. And C++, Java, Python, they will support object-oriented programming. So procedural programming it is about writing functions. That functions operate on the data. Okay, procedural programming, writing of functions. So that functions operate on the data. But object-oriented programming, it is about creating objects which contain both data and the functions. Okay. In procedural programming, code is organized around functions. But in object-oriented program, the code is organized around objects. That is the difference. Huh? So how to create the class and the object? Let us discuss that. Classes, C++ classes and objects. So as I have discussed that C++, it is an object-oriented programming language. So in C++, everything is associated with classes and objects. So along with its attributes and method. So C++ is associated with classes and objects, and the classes and objects, the class has its attributes and methods. So real life, a car is an object. So car has attributes. Car is what? Generally, car is a class. That car has so many objects. Renault car is an object. Okay. That is what your Maruti Ertiga is an object, but car is a class. Okay. Every car, every object has attributes. Attributes what's like its weight, color, its weight and color. And it has some car object has some methods, speed up, braking, and accelerate, stop. These are the functions. These are the functions of an object. So here, these functions means drive function, stop function, and speed accelerate function, brake function. These are the functions. So every function will complete a task. But in C++ programming, functions are called methods. Okay. So attributes are what? Attributes and methods are basically, these are attributes means these are variables. Okay, variables means weight is an attribute, weight, how much of weight of that object car. Okay, what is the color of that object, car object, color, red color. So basically these attributes are called variables and functions. Functions means what? I told you that speed function, gear function, stop function, break function. Every function will complete a task. So here functions are called methods. So functions that belongs to the class. Okay. So these are often referred to as class members. What variables and functions? These are all called class members. So class is a user-defined data type which can use in our program. So class is a user-defined data type. User-defined data type, not built-in data type. Built-in data type means already previously the code was written under a class. Okay, now here the class is user-defined data type we will use in our program. So class is what? It is an object constructor. Class is what? It is an object constructor or blueprint to create the objects. Okay. So how to create a class? In where? In this IDE, I told that here you can write the code here. No need to install any IDE integrated development environment here so that you can write the code. So how can we create a class in C++? To create a class, the class keyword compulsory in C++. If you want to create a class, but C language, it will not support object-oriented programming. Only the C++, Java, Python, they will support object-oriented programming. So if you want to create a class, use the class keyword. Okay, right now, create a class called my class. The class name is what? My class. First of all, we need to use class keyword to create a class. So class and then class name. So these two are flower braces, flower braces, okay, flower. Under this, public is access specified. So what about the access level of that class, whether it is public or private? Okay, so public column, that is very important. And then these are any data types you have defined inside of that public class. So initially data type and then variable name, okay, attribute. Here attribute, my num is an attribute. It is integer attribute, integer variable. Okay. I told you that attributes are what? Nothing but they are the variables. So it will hold the data like your color of the car and the height of the car, weight of the car. They are the objects which will represent that object. Okay. String, my string. Okay. These are attribute string variable. So at the end of this, you need to give this semicolon. So now in this class, now my class, we create a class called my class. Class is created. This class has its access level is public. So these variables can be two variables created inside of this public class name my class. Inside of these two variables created into my num. My num is a variable and my string is just variable. Two attributes means one integer variable, one string variable created inside of the public class. And the public class name is equal to my class. Always we need to use class variable here. Okay. So if you example we can understand here, the class keyword is used to create a class called my class. Public keyword is an access specifier. What is the access level of that class? It specifies that members, attributes, and methods. So these are the members of any class and how they will be accessed. They either publicly accessed or privately. So that class attributes, which specifies the members, attributes, and method of the classes are accessing how from outside the class. Okay, outside the class, how I am able to access that class members, other attributes and methods. Okay, what is access specifier means? Access specifier is the way how to provide the access of the attributes and functions. So inside the class, there is an integer variable, my name created, and a string variable. String variable, okay. My string, when variables are declared within a class, they are called attributes. If variables are inside of the class, if they are being declared, they are called attributes. So then after lastly, you need to keep a mention, you need to mention one semicolon. Okay, finally, we need to, at the end of the class, we need to define a semicolon. That is very important. Huh? So this is the class. First of all, let us see how to create this code. We can create in the here also. So where here, first of all, as I told you, the class. Okay. Next class name, any class, name. Fruit is a class. Fruit is a class. Now here, flower brace. Okay. Automatically at the end flower brace, semicolon will be given. Okay. Now under this class, always class will be created with the first class keyword must be used, then class name, fruit, then after inside a flower base, we need to write the code. So first of all, we need to provide the access level. That is what public. Public, what do you mean of public? Public means is the class members of any attributes, any variables or functions, they can be accessed publicly outside of the class. Inside of the class, that is what outside of the class. That's a public. So next, public keyword, then what? We need to create some variables inside of this public. So as per your syntax, after the public keyword, this is very important, colon V is very important. Okay. So class keyword, then after class name, these inside of the flower braces means now class is defined. So then class level, access level, we need to define either it is public class and private. So means any attributes of that class can be accessed outside. Public means from anywhere you can access. So that colon is very important. This is access specific. It indicates that access level of your what? Your class. Okay. And next, then after variables, how many variables you need to create? So here, as I told you that this is column. Then after inside of this, how many variables? So any variable that is int variable in C++, C, Java. First of all, we need to define the data type, whether it is integer data type, whether it is float data type, whether it is string data type. We need to define. So int, then after name of that variable, name of that variable, any variable, any variable. Suppose weight, otherwise color. Color, color is what? Color. So semicolon. Okay. Column. Every sentence must be terminated with every statement must be terminated with the semicolon. So now see, you first color is a variable which will hold which type of data. You need to decide yourself. If color stores string type of data, color means what? Yellow color, blue color, red color. So if it is any string type of data, so integer this data definition is wrong because no color is string data type. So if it is what weight means what? Some weight it has numbers. Weight means 75 kg. So it is what numbers. So integer. Okay, weight it is in round figure 78 kgs. So then integer okay. Otherwise 78.5. So you need to define float. Float height. Semicolon. Every statement must be terminated semicolon. Float. Next string. String is what? If color is white, red, blue, so color is what we need to define color. It is a string. String color. Okay. Now problem is what you know. String is a data type, but this integer float, they are being identified and they are being kept in red color. But string is a data type. Float, integer also data types, but they are turned into red color whenever we have typed. So the string is not being identified. So keep this S as capital letter. So what happened as per your syntax? String actually string small letter. Okay. So we will keep that as a small letter. So how many variables we have created? These three variables we have created. They are called attributes. What? Attributes. What attributes? Data attributes. Means other class object attribute. Every object has a word color, height, width. Their word they will define objects weight, height, and color. So every object has some functions. Okay. So that functions means what breaking function, break function, and acceleration function, speed function. So every function will design some task. They will complete some task. Okay, understood that. So now, as I have explained all the things, this is okay. Now, so how to create an object? This is up to only class created. One class is created. Then what? How to create the object in Python? That is very important. First of all, as I told, that class and object class is what? It is a blueprint of objects. How to create the object? Yeah, object constructor, a prototype to create the objects. That is called class. So here one prototype, we have one prototype. One class is the object constructor, prototype. For fruit class, object will be created here for fruit class. Which type of fruit? Banana. What is banana's color? Yellow color. How much of a banana object the weight has? 100 gram, like that. Okay. These are attributes. So come to the point. So how to create objects? In C++, object is created from a class because class is an object constructor. It is a prototype. It is a blueprint to create the object. So already we have created the class named my class. Already we have created class name is fruit. Okay, don't worry. I have not kept attitude as it is my class. Okay, I have kept here. It is a fruit. And now we can use this class to create the objects. So create an object of my class, specify class name first, followed by object name. That is the syntax. First of all, to create an object in C++ for any class, first of all, first class name, then object name, important. So how to create the object? Okay. Inside this is closed, class is defined. Next is what to create an object. Inside of main function, we need to create the object. First class name for which class? This class. So here in here case, what is the class name? Fruit. And then object name. That is very important. Class name, object name. That's how one object is created. Okay. Now, to set the values for attributes, so we need to set values for attributes. Now, then print attribute value, cout. Okay, cout the mostly used function to get printout. Okay, cout. So this is the one syntax. We need to follow the syntax in Java, in Python, Java, C++. We need to follow the syntax. Until unless you don't want to follow the syntax, that is, you will get errors. So now we will create the object. First, I told you that inside of this what function, int, okay, and main function. Okay, this is very important. Int main function. Okay. Now under this main function, see what happened. This is the function I told you that main function, we need to keep the name as it is main function. Next is flower braces. Okay. Brackets, always main function has the parenthesis bracket. inside of the this brace, this brace, this brace. This brace is up to class only. Now it is closed with the semicolon. Again, under the main function, process starting brace and end brace. At the end of this return statement indicates that now this function is closed. No any statements left here. That is the main thing. Yeah? So come here, under this here, int main function. Now this main function, you cut this one. This is class. Under this, out of this, okay, now int main function, okay, under the main function, one under the braces, flower braces, this is what? At the end of this, we must have one statement, return statement. Okay, return 0. Return 0. This is very important. Why 0 means this statement indicates that this function is closed and it has no any statement after this return statement. Means all the statements are ended now. Inside of this, how to create object first. Create an object. Create an object. This is what? Create a class. Create a class. Okay, in C++. This is what C++ programming. C++ programming. OOPS concepts. OOPS concepts means object-oriented programming concept. Object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming. Okay, OOPS concepts. So now one class, create a class. Class is created with the name fruit. Inside of this flower braces, whenever class is created, it is to be terminated with the semicolon. And once class is created with the class keyword, first class keyword, then class name. Any name you can keep. Your name, my name, XYZ, doesn't matter. Inside of this flower braces, class access level, we need to mention that whether the class is public or private. This is called public, this is called access specifier. The access level, how these class attributes nothing but they are the variables and functions of that class. So attributes, how the attributes are being accessed outside of the class, otherwise inside of the class. See here the access level is public. Okay. Now, yeah. Now one object to be created, that is procedure is what? Inside of the main function. So we need to create an object first, class name. What is class name here? Fruit. Next class name fruit. Then object, which type of fruit? Banana. Because class fruit has so many objects. Banana, apple, papaya, so many objects are there. So fruit is a class and class is an object constructor, means it is a prototype, it is a blueprint. By that we can create the objects. So every object has so many attributes. So fruit, banana is an object. Okay, now semicolon. So your object is created. Create an object. So for what? Class name. Class name is my class. There, here is your class name is, here is your class name is, where is your class name? This is class name. So for first class name, what? Next, object name. This is the object name. This is the syntax to create an object in C++. Okay, C++ programming. Next, Access attributes and set values. We need to set the values for attributes. Attributes are nothing but they are the variables. So how can we access? How can we access the attributes and we can set the values? Then after, how can we get print the values of attributes? Print the values of attributes. That is very important. Huh? So let us access attributes and set values. Access attributes. Access attributes are what? They're nothing but attributes and set value and set values. What I told you with value, what are the attributes are nothing but they are the variables which will hold the value. Here, attributes, always the attributes will be accessed with the object name. What is our object name? Banana. So, banana dot object, then it has color. We have created these are attributes. How many attributes? Weight is an attribute, height is, color is. So color is what? String. Color is what? String. So clear here. So color. Okay. Is equal to what? Banana dot color. It is a string data type. So we can represent the string value in double quotation. Color. Suppose what is the color of that car? Suppose yellow color. Okay. This is one attribute create or terminate with semicolon. Next is what? Banana dot color height. Okay, is equal to what? This is what? Height is what? Float. Float means 5.55. Okay, semicolon. Next, banana. Every attribute will be accessed with what? Object dot. Okay. Weight. Weight is what? Weight is what? Weight is what? Integer value. Integer means suppose 50 kgs. 550 kgs. So all these three attributes, they have been accessed and their values are set up. Okay, these are the values. After is equal to whatever the values we have written, they are the values. Now what happened? All your class is created in C language up to here. And for this class, object created fruit banana. So this banana has some what attributes. Their attributes, they have been set up. Okay. Now see here. Same thing you have done. Up to here you have done. Okay. Access attributes and set values. So first object name and dot the attributes and values will be set up. Then after terminate with semicolon every statement. Then print attribute values. Print attribute values. What are the print attribute values? So how to print the attribute values? So cout is the main function used in C++ language. Okay. C++, this is the main how to print the attribute values. Okay. So now here, first of all, cout. And this symbol, insertion operator, then any object attribute. Always the object attributes are called with the object. Banana color. Banana dot color. Okay. Here insertion operator. Then what? This is what the next line character. That is very important. Otherwise, all the values will be kept beside of one value. All the values, they will be kept. So insertion operator, This is what next line character. That is very important. And semicolon. That is very important. And next line character. Next line character is what? So backslash n. This is called what? Insertion. Insertion operator. Then next line character. Semicolon. Now see out insertion operator banana dot height. Okay. Again, next your next line character. Next line character and then backslash n. What do you mean by this? Backslash n means next line character. Means one next line will be created. Understood that. Now run this code. What happened? Let us see this much of code we have written. How what we are getting. Are we getting the right answer or not? What is the problem here? Let us see. So everywhere here, the mistake we have done, this statement is not terminated. That is very important. Huh? So now run this code. Run this code. Yeah, we need to see the window, debug window. Okay.